All right, shalom, everyone. So today I just wanted to, I have questions myself. I don't know, but I notice like differences in the text, right? When I'm reading the Bible and just putting things together. So today I'm reading from the JPS Tanakh. I'm looking at Genesis 1, chapter 1, verses 27 and 28, and I'm just questioning why it's written in this way, right? When God is creating man here in Genesis 1 versus when Lord God creates man in Genesis 2. So let's just read along and see if we can figure things out. I don't know. So it says, and God created man in his own image, or in his image, excuse me. In the image of God created him. Male and female, he created them. And God blessed them, not him, right? And God said to them, not him, be fertile and increase and fill the earth and master it, and rule the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, and all the living things that creep on the earth. So this reads as a, complete creation of God creating his people in his image, right? That's how I understand it. Let us make man in our image after our likeness. When you go over to Genesis 2 and chapter 2, verses 7 and 8, there is no in our image or after our likeness, none of that going on over here. And also, man is being created from dust, not just kind of being created, right? So the Lord God, not God, but the Lord God, formed man from the dust of the earth. He blew into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living being. None of those extra steps were taken over here. Why, right? Why? The Lord God planted a garden in Eden in the east, and placed there the man whom he had formed. And from the ground the Lord God caused to grow every tree that was pleasing to the sight and good for food, with the tree of life in the middle of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and bad. Right? So moving on, we're going to skip down to verse 15, and it reads, the Lord God took the man and placed him in the Garden of Eden to till it and tend it. Now, is this the same man from verse 7? Again, I don't know. Why is it written like this? And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, of every tree you are free to eat, but as far as the tree of knowledge of good and bad, you must not eat of it, for as soon as you eat of it, you shall die. Then the Lord God said, it is not good for man to be alone. I will make a fitting helper for him. Okay? For man to be alone, I will make a fitting helper for him. And the Lord God formed out of the earth all the wild beasts and the birds of the sky, and brought them to man to see what he would call them. And whatever the man called each living creature, that would be his name. All right, we're going to jump down to 22. And the Lord God fashioned out of the rib that he had taken from the man into a woman, and he brought her to the man. And the man said, this one at last is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. This one shall be called woman, for from man she was taken. Hence a man leaves his father and his mother and clings to a wife, so they become one flesh. So my question is this man and Adam the same person? I don't think they are, right? Because I don't even see, let me see where they bring up where Adam first appears. I don't think it's but one thing that I notice when I'm reading this is, depending on which version of text that you're using, the man and Eve are always mentioned in the same sentence, and the woman and Adam are mentioned in other sentences separate from the man and Eve. So that leads me to believe that there's 4 different people interacting in the garden, right? Or in this story, right? I do believe that there are other people there and all that stuff, but as far as the purposes of this text right now, you have the man, the woman, Adam, Eve, 4 different entities, right? And from my understanding, when you compare all the texts, and there's plenty of text to go through here between Genesis chapters 1 through 4 regarding this, and I would challenge everyone to go out there and see if what I'm saying is true. But most of the time, I think it's only maybe one time, and it might be a mistranslation. It's always kept separately. So you have Adam and the woman mentioned in one sentence, and that's a pair, that's a couple, that's, husband and wife. And then you have the man and Eve, a separate couple, two different people from Adam and the woman, if that makes sense. Again, I hope this makes some type of sense to someone out there, so you guys can, so we can all work through this together and get to the bottom of this truth, because it's written in this way for a reason. We just have to slow down and question why things are written like that, because it could have very easily been written in a way that is easy to read for us now, and it's not. So why, right? All right, all praise to the Most High, Creator, Ahaya, Sheahaya. I love you guys. Selah.